DreAllDay.com.
We're about to talk about motivation, ladies and gentlemen. And people often ask me the question about motivation. Like, what do you do when you're dealing with somebody who's not really motivated? What do you do when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't really have that? They don't really have that fire inside of them. They're not as motivated as you are. What exactly do you do in that situation? What's going on, Diana Krasavchik? I don't know what that means, but all right, Diana, thank you for coming in. If you're in the room right now, please tap the screen for the hearts. If you watch me for the first time, swipe and share like Mark Dormius just did. Swipe and also follow so you can catch me every time I do these Periscope streams. And we're talking about the topic of motivation. What do you do when you're dealing with somebody who's not motivated? Somebody, they just don't want it as bad as you want it. What exactly do you do in that particular situation? I'm going to tell you exactly what you do in that situation. You don't seek people who are motivated. If you're working with somebody who's not motivated, it's not your job to motivate them. Do not seek to motivate people. Now, somebody might get motivated by what you do. Somebody might get motivated by watching you. Somebody might get motivated if they following you. Somebody might get motivated by something that you say when you happen to be talking to them or they happen to hear you speaking. But you don't seek people who are motivated. Like me personally, when I'm working, if I'm looking for somebody I'm going to do business with, or somebody who's going to work for me or work with me, or I'm going to do anything where that person's cooperation is necessary for me to be successful, I'm not looking for a person who needs to be motivated. I'm looking for somebody who's already motivated. I'd rather have a person who doesn't know anything, has no skills, but is motivated, than somebody who has all the skills and is not motivated at all. And I'm sure many of you can agree with that. I'm sure many of you, almost all of you, have probably worked with somebody before who had all the skills, all the talent, all the ability, but they had zero motivation to actually get things done. And what'd you get out of that person? Probably nothing, just a whole bunch of frustration because you're dealing with people who have all the skills to be great, but they're not motivated to do it. So what you got to do is find people who are motivated. And the funny thing about people who are motivated is there's not too many of them. There's not a lot of them out there. Ideally, you want to find somebody who got the skill and the motivation. That's when you get magic. And that you got to go through a whole lot of people to find those type of individuals. Whether you're a boss looking for an employee, whether you're a business person looking for business partners, whether you're a basketball player looking for teammates, to find somebody who has the skill and the motivation to put in the work, that's a very tough person to find. But they are out there, but you just got to keep looking. So I personally, just to go back to the point, I don't personally look for people that I need to motivate. If I need to motivate you, I'm probably not going to work with you. I'm not going to work with somebody who I had to motivate. Somebody who's like, well, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know it needs to get done. I know this is going to help me get A, B, and C, but, I just don't feel like doing it. I remember when I was in high school, right, one time, there was this guy on my team. We called him Bones. We called him Bones because he was real tall and skinny, real long and lanky. He was like 6'5", with real long arms and long legs. He had talent. He was one of the more talented players on the team. And he was a junior when I was a senior. And one of my senior teammates, this dude named Will, one day he was looking at this dude Bones, and he was like, yo, me looking at you and watching you in practice every day really pisses me off. And Bones was like, wow, why is it pissing you off? He was like, because. Will said to Bones, he's like, because, dude, like, you got all the talent. You probably have more talent than anybody on this team. He was 6'5". He could play guard. He could play wing. He could pretty much play any position. He could handle the ball. He could shoot. He could jump. He could grab rebounds. He was a great all-around. He had all-around talent. He had all-around skills. He wasn't a great all-around player, but he had all-around skills. And Will was like, dude, you got the most talent of anybody here. You got all the tools, but you just don't want to work. And he was like, he said it again. He was like, you got a whole tool belt full of tools, but you just don't want to work. And then Bones was like, he was like one of these joking dudes, always telling jokes, always laughing, trying to play around. He's like, sometimes I just don't feel like doing the work. Now, at least he was being honest about it. But the fact of the matter is, you're going to run into a lot of people like that in your life. And they're not even going to be as talented as this kid Bones was that I'm talking about. When people are not motivated, you got to throw them away or put them off to the side. If somebody's not motivated, listen, I'm going to put you off to the side on this here. Whenever I got time, I'll deal with you. But otherwise, I'm dealing with the people who are motivated. You want to find people who are motivated. Seek out the motivated individuals. If somebody's motivated, you can teach them. Because guess what? When a person is motivated, what are they open to doing? They're open to learning. They're open to being coached. They're open to being taught. They're open to constructive criticism. They're open to getting new things into their mind that they didn't already have because they're motivated. A motivated person, you can pretty much mold them like clay into however you want them to be. A person that's unmotivated is pretty much stuck wherever they at. Whether that's a talented person who has no accomplishments, a person with no talent and no accomplishments, there's a lot of those out there, or a person who has some accomplishments, not a lot of talent, or maybe some amount of talent, but they really haven't gotten to their highest level because they just don't feel like doing it. Listen, you got to leave those people where they at. Your job is not to motivate anybody. So if you're not a motivational speaker, you don't like hyping people up, or you're not the type of person to do that to other people, even if you are, you're not looking for people that you need to hype up. You're not looking for people who need you to call them and say something motivational for them to get out of bed. I remember there was this, when I got my first job, I worked this place called Pizza Hut. Y'all know Pizza Hut. And there was this woman, she was older than me. She had kids. I was like 15 at the time. She was in her 30s, maybe in her 40s. And the manager was a dude named Brett. And Brett told me one day, and this woman, her name was like Marianne or something like that. She was an older woman. She had kids. I could tell she had been through a lot in her life. And there were days, Brett said, he told me, he said, there are days I got to call Marianne and I got to kind of motivate her to get out of bed and come into work. One reason, because I need her here working. Another reason is she needs to come to work so she can get this check so she can take care of her kids. But there are days where I got to call her and hype her up and get her to come into work. And I always remember him saying it. It was such a long time ago. I didn't think anything of it then. He didn't give me any great lesson to take with me or anything like that. But the thing that I always remembered about that is that I don't want to work her like that. If I was the manager and there was somebody I had to call and hype them up to get them to come to work, I'm going to hype them up and get them to come to work today, maybe for the next week. But the whole time, you know what I'm be doing in the background? I'm be finding somebody to replace them. I'm trying to find their replacement. Like, we got to get your ass out of here. I got to find somebody who really wants it. All of you out there, all of you know what it feels like to work with somebody who doesn't want it. Somebody who you know has the skills. Somebody you know, like, yo, if you just listen to what I'm telling you, everything is going to work out. You're going to get exactly what you want. You'll have the game that you want. You'll get recruited. You'll make the money. You'll have the position. You'll have the accomplishments, the attention and recognition. You'll be able to help other people. Whatever it is that person wants out of their life. You know, you looking at them like, yo, I know this person can get it if they just listen to what I'm saying, but they just don't want it. And what do you get when you're dealing with people like that? You get a high level of frustration, high level of stress, and you waste a whole lot of time, a whole lot of energy, and probably money wasting time, because time is money. You waste it dealing with people like that. And all of you also know, on the other hand, what it feels like to work with somebody that's super motivated. Person that's super motivated usually is ready to do step A, B, and C while you're trying to just get them to do A. You just like, we just gonna do A today, and they like, yo, what's B? What we gotta do for B? How do we do C? That's the type of person you want to work with. You want to work with the type of person when you looking at them, you like, damn, they got more energy than me. They more motivated than me. Working with this person has revitalized and re-energized me. Have any of you ever dealt with somebody like that? Like, you start working with this person, you trying to help them out, and just being around them, they so eager to get more information, to do more, to be more active, to be more helpful, to learn as much as they can so they can actually contribute more to themselves or to you or to the cause, the team, the business, the job, whatever it is. You like, damn, I'm glad I found this person, because this person is kind of waking me up out of my sleep to come back and do my thing the way I'm supposed to do it. Those are the people you want to seek out, and those are the people I look for. If I'm looking for somebody to work with, I want somebody that wants it. Somebody that really, somebody that's like, if I don't show up, they still gonna show up. That's the kind of person I want. If I'm working with a player, if I'm training a basketball player, I'm working with the type of players where if I'm sick and I don't come to the gym, they go to the gym and work on the stuff that we worked on last time by themselves without my help. They don't have to call me and ask me what to do. They ain't texting me like, yo, is you coming? They not doing none of that. They just showing up and putting the work in. What's going on, Belinda01? They showing up and doing the work with or without me. Those are the kind of people you want to find in whatever it is that you're doing. I don't care what area you in. I don't care if you're a psychologist, if you own your own business, if you're a boss trying to hire some employees, if you're a basketball player trying to put together a team, whatever it is you do, you got to find the people who actually want it. The people who, once they know enough on how to do it competently, they'll be doing it with you or without you, because those motivated individuals will push everything forward with you or without you. Now, the people that you got to drag, they're going to slow you down. When you got to drag people, you ever tried to carry something, like you carry some heavy bags or heavy weights up a hill or up some steps? Do you go as fast as you do when you by yourself? Absolutely not. You go slower, because you got to drag all that weight with you. Now, have you ever went up a hill or up some steps, or you ever go on a jog, like a run with somebody who was faster than you, or had more energy than you, or was in better shape than you? What do? They running so far ahead of you, you find yourself running faster than you normally run by yourself, because you got this motivated person so far ahead of you. You like, damn, I got to at least try to keep up with this individual. That's the type of person you want working with you. When you got that type of person working with you, not only do they raise their level, they raise the level of everybody else, because everybody's like, yo, we got to keep up with this guy. And if you are a motivated person, you see somebody else that's more motivated than you have no choice but to step it up. And if you end up seeing somebody who's motivated up here and you step it down because you just don't think you can get up to that level, then you need to look in the mirror at yourself. So anybody got any questions for me? I will take a question or two about motivation. I saw some comments in the room as I was talking. This is Dre Baldwin. I'm also known as DreAllDay. I'm an empowerment expert, professional speaker, professional athlete, business owner, entrepreneur. What else do I do? Confidence. I talk about mindset. I've written 5 books. I've published 3,000 blog posts, 4,000 YouTube videos. And this is what I do. I empower people with information. I empower people with actionable steps. I empower people with knowledge. I empower people with stuff that I learned from somebody else. And I'll come here and give it to you because you might not have heard what I heard. So I'm going to give it to you in the way that I give it to you. So maybe when I disseminate this information, you might be able to use it in a way that you may otherwise not have been able to accept it, use it, and apply it if you had heard it from somebody else. Does that make sense to everybody? So any questions that I can take here, we're talking about motivation. Actually not seeking to motivate people, but finding people who already got their own motivation. Who knows where they got it from? Who cares? You don't care. You find somebody motivated, you care where they got it? No, I'm just glad you motivated, because let's get it done. What do I do if I can't find people who are motivated after trying to motivate the people you're already around? Well, you're doing it backwards, Tom. You listen to anything that I just said. Stop trying to motivate people. Now that I told you, stop trying to motivate people. Trey Tom said, can you deliver value by motivating them? You can deliver value by motivating them through your actions of leaving them alone and showing them that you don't need them. So no, you don't try to motivate people who ain't got it. Leave them alone. How long did it take you to reach 4,000 vids and 3,000 blog posts? With a vid number, I'm almost at 5,000, so that took me a while. Blog posts, I don't know. I don't know the exact time because I wasn't really counting. But I've been blogging since 2005, YouTube since 2006, 07. But I just been doing it every day. See, it wasn't a factor of me counting like, all right, how many years is this going to take? All right, I know in this year I'm going to hit this number. It wasn't about that. It was about me just putting the content out. So what up, Dre? Is being with positive people help motivate you as a whole? If you with somebody who's at a higher level than you, it should motivate you. If it demotivates you, then that means there's something wrong with you. How do you try to motivate people? I don't. Tom, were you listening to anything that I just said? I don't try to motivate people. I try to find people who already got it. Now, I share information with people. If this happens to get you motivated, cool. But if you don't bring the motivation on your own, then I'm not working with you. What is motivating you to play basketball? I motivate myself. I'm a dispatcher. I work with firefighters who act like punks. How can I motivate myself to deal with these fools? Well, it's your job. If you don't want to deal with them, quit. Go get a different job. Start a business. Do something else. If you don't want to work with them, leave. I don't think there's anybody holding a gun to your head forcing you to work with those fools as you describe them. So if you really can't deal with it, stop dealing with it. Go do something else. Now, I think motivation is situational. Can you motivate yourself to do anything? Anybody can motivate themselves to do anything if they want to do it bad enough. Yes. It's kind of like one of my business partners used this example. Like if somebody put a plank in between 2 high-rise buildings that was 50 feet tall and said, hey, would you walk across this plank for $1,000? Most people would say no. What about 10,000? What about 10 million? What about 100 million? Most people would say no because their life is not worth risking for trying to get X amount of dollars. But if, let's say, you had a newborn baby, a baby that you just had a week ago on the other side of that plank on the other building, would you walk across it to get your baby? And everybody says, yeah, of course you'll walk across to get your baby. So that's the point. When somebody's motivated enough to get something, they can do anything. So the answer is yes. You can do anything when you are motivated enough to do it. So anything that anybody's not doing, they say they want to do, they're just not motivated enough. Black Hybrid says, that's how I feel to cut a lot of people off because they have too much negativity. Exactly. That's exactly what you got to do. Trey Tom said, I made a YouTube vid about this. I mean, I made a YouTube vid probably about everything. But sometimes you got to repeat yourself because, listen, how'd you learn the ABCs? Because you repeat it every single day. What do I look for in motivated people? I don't look for anything. You know when somebody's motivated. If you got to ask if they motivated, then they're not. You know what motivation means. Anybody who don't know what motivation means, look it up in the dictionary. You'll know when you see somebody who's motivated. It'll be so obvious to you, you won't even have to think about it. You'll be like, damn, you know what? That was a motivated person. It's like seeing a unicorn. You got to find those people. Motivation is not something that you can give to another person. You can temporarily, but if a person's not motivated, they'll be up for that little day or week or whatever time you're able to motivate them for. But as soon as it's over, they're going to go right back to being who they are. So you got to find motivated people, not motivate somebody. Find people who already got it, and then you can teach them skills that they can use their motivation for. All right, so we're going to wrap up this Periscope stream here. Those of you who are watching me for the first time, make sure you swipe to the right, tap on my name and follow me, because this is every single day. We do this here on Periscope. I do it every single day on YouTube, every single day on DreAllDay.com. What's going on? Who is that? N. Tremaine, what's up? Black Hybrid said, lunch break's almost over. Absolutely, I appreciate that. All right, Pilot, I appreciate you too. Hey, make sure y'all tap the screen. Let me get a heart attack, ventricular fibrillation. I forget. I don't think that's the right word. Somebody told me what it was. Yes, work on your game, WOYG. Y'all want to get some free stuff from me? My first book, Buy a Game, you can get for free on my website, DreAllDay.com. When a pop-up comes up, just tap the screen, not tap the screen, but click and put your email in, and we'll send you that book for free. DreAllDay.com. Work on your game. Thanks for watching this video. I'm sure you were entertained. Make sure to stay connected with me on all your favorite social networks. Twitter and Periscope at DreAllDay, Instagram Dre Baldwin, Facebook /Work on Your Game. You can bookmark my YouTube channel by subscribing, of course, and the website is workonyourgame, that's .me, workonyourga.me. And of course, my homepage is my website, DreAllDay.com, so you can know exactly what I'm doing, exactly when I'm doing it, and how you might be able to be involved. Work on your game.